Alright, I'm Matt. I'm back today with another yoga practice. Today is what I'll call quote-unquote rest day yoga. Technically I'm not actually supposed to be doing yoga on rest days right now because I'm on a training program, but I've found that if I just sit around all day on a quote-unquote rest day, after climbing my muscles get really stiff, I get really sore, and I don't actually recover that well. I don't know. Everyone's different, but for me, I feel like I need to move my body and I need to break up the kind of adhesions and soreness and tight spots that I've accrued while climbing. So this practice will be actually pretty active for a quote-unquote rest day, but also trying to work out some kinks. So we'll start on child's pose on the floor. So come down to your mat, stretch your legs behind you, bring your toes together in a butterfly position and stretch your arms in front of you. And we're just going to breathe. Long, slow inhales, if you want to do a count of 4 to 6, and long, slow exhales, a count of 4 to 6 through your nose. Hello, Bunny. This is my assistant, Bunny. Always here. More through the inner triad of your hands, pressing back through the hips. Try to stretch long through the armpits, the shoulders, and the lats to really kind of work out any sort of sore spots you would have gotten from pulling while rock climbing. Exhales. Reach the arms long. You're trying to find length even though you're on the floor. A little tricky because the cat has gotten right in the middle of the mat, but I'm going to reach my hands off to the right to do a little bit of a side stretch. So again, you're reaching at like 1 or 2 o'clock on the clock face dial. Really stretch long through that left lat, reach long through that right arm, push back into the hips, and try to find some length. So. The center, ready to little child's pose for a couple breaths. Off to the left, and just really find length through that right shoulder and lat, and then focus on finding length also through your left side, extending off the mat, reaching to about 10 or 11 o'clock on the clock dial. Go backwards and down into your hips, and you should really find some length through the right side of your body. My shoulders are very sore. I moonboarded yesterday and lifted weights, and my shoulders sort of feel like someone hit them with a rubber mallet. So I'm going to take my right arm, lift it to the sky, look up at it, keep it nice and straight. I realize my arm's probably not that straight because of how my limbs are. Thread it under the left arm, which you keep extended, and bring your right ear to the floor and just breathe. Long, slow inhales and exhales. To the back of your right hand and really feel that twist. The other side, left arm to the sky, keep it nice and straight. I realize my left arm probably doesn't look straight at all. I have old shoulder injuries and kind of a gnarly arm, but I'm doing my best, which is what you should do too. Take this arm, bring it under the right, Bring your left ear to the ground. Twist. Find some opposition between that right palm on the mat and the back of the left arm on the floor. Getting some shoulder opening now. Return to child's pose for a couple breaths. Do something. I don't actually know the name of this, but it's a really good shoulder opener. Super good if you're a climber. So just come down on your belly. Your arms are going to spread out in a T. This is a little tricky because they don't have a lot of space to work with, but I'm going to extend my right arm all the way out to the right. Take my left arm, keep it bent in, kind of at elbow distance from my body. Press down into that right hand, then push off that left arm, and then drop your left foot behind you like you're kind of, chimneying or doing a drop knee, and you should feel a lot of stretch through the outside of that right shoulder. You can bring your head to the mat and just continue to push into the stretch. Back to center. We're going to do the same thing, but on the left side. Left arm long, coming off the mat. Right hand under your shoulder. Push. Drop the right foot behind you and just rotate. Lot of opening through your shoulders. And then actually, let's just do one more quick shoulder opener. So hands in prayer in front of you, elbows on the mat, and then drive back into child's pose. Bring your hands over the crown of your head and just ground down through your elbows. Now we're going to come up. 1 second. That our cat wasn't up by the parakeets. We're going to warm up with some cat-cow. So come to all fours on your mat, tabletop position. Square your shoulders right over your arms. Press down through your palms. Ground the inner triad, which is this little corner between your thumb and your index finger. Push down. Keep the core tight. All right, drop the belly, lift the head. Inhale. Arch the back. Bring the pelvis forward. Exhale. Cat and cow. Exhales. See, I have a little bit of asthma, but yoga actually helps me a bit. So just do what you can. Arch the back, cat pose, drop in the belly, cow. Let's step back into a downward dog just to warm up our hamstrings a bit before the next round of poses. We're just going to hold it somewhat statically just to warm up a little bit more. So ground down through that inner triad. Straighten the legs, drive back through the heels. If you can get them to the mat, great. I can't. I'm just not built that way. Take the shoulders, rotate the eyes of your elbows forward. Ground down through that inner trihead, push back. And because this is the first one of the day, you can walk your dog. So alternate dropping first one heel and then the other. If you need to do some hip wiggles, stuff like that, feel free. Whatever you need to do to kind of start warming up. Try to open my hamstrings, dropping my head. Hi, buddy. Downward dog, three-legged dog. Lock out that left leg, move it to the center of your mat. Bring the right leg up behind you nice and straight. Step it forward, right between the hands. Drop your left knee to the mat. This is low lunge. For this first one, just climb your hands up on top of your right knee. Push down through the quad. Keep the shoulders, don't do this, what I'm doing. Drop them down. Nice straight posture with your back. And then just ground down and breathe. You should be feeling this right in here. I know that's where I'm feeling it. Opening things up a bit. Here, come up onto your toes, so it's kind of like a ballerina. Arch forward, drop your heels to the right, and then just push back into your downward dog. We're going to hold this for a few breaths and just breathe. Stay up on your toes. Now drop them to the left. Push back. And you should feel a lot of activation through the right shoulder and lat. Three-legged dog, left leg in the air, driving down through that right foot, center of the mat. Bring the left leg forward, knees over the ankle. Drop your right knee to the mat. And then just push off your left quad, shoulders out of the ears, hips facing forward. Breathe, long, slow inhales and exhales. And again, I know I don't always succeed. I'm doing my best. Turn to downward facing dog. So, really ground down into your heels if you can. Mine are almost touching the mat today. It means it's a good day. Ground down through that left hand, through the inner triad. Right arm to the sky. Bring it back and reach for your left leg wherever you can grab it. Thigh, knee, calf. I'm on my thigh. That's as far as I can get. Twist and look under your left armpit. Breathe. Equally, don't let one or the other sort of sag. Focus on maintaining downward dog through your legs. On the left side, left arm to the sky. Reach down. T-shirts in my way as usual. Right leg up, three-legged dog. Bring it forward into your low lunge again. Drop that back knee. This time we'll bring the arms to the sky. Just breathe. Again, shoulders down the back. Rotate the palms to face each other. Really be active through the fingers. Jazz hands if you want. Whatever it takes to sort of, don't just, be like, good enough. Really active. Side stretch. I'm going to grab my left wrist with my right hand and then pull yourself over to the right. Stay active through the legs. Use those as kind of your foundation. Pushing down through that back knee and through that front foot. Just drag your arm to the side. You should feel really good side stretch. All right, arms back up. Hands to the mat. Step back, downward facing dog. Legged dog. Left foot forward. Drop the right knee to the mat. Hands up. Right wrist with the left hand. Again, grounding down through your feet, active through the hips and legs. Pull yourself over to the side. You should feel really good side stretch through those right obliques and abs. Hands to the mat. Let's go ahead and take a vinyasa. So step back to plank. Pretty much what it sounds like. Grounding down through the inner triad. Eyes of the elbows forward, lower halfway. Flip over the toes. Stay active through the core. Push down through the tops of your feet, upward facing dog. We're going to take half Hanuman, so step forward to your low lunge, drop your back knee to the mat. I'm super inflexible, so this is going to be not super amazing, but straighten that right leg. You're on your left knee. For me, I take a block, lift, inhale, and exhale over the leg and fold. This is a really good hamstring opener. Rebend that right leg. Step back, plank, chaturanga dandasana, upward facing dog, downward facing dog. Step forward, low lunge. We've been here before. Drop the back knee to the mat. Then straighten that left leg. Drive down through the right knee. Inhale up. Fold forward over the straight left leg. And I'm going to use a little bit of a block. I could come to the floor, but then my back gets rounded. If I use the block, I can keep my back straighter and fold over the straightened left leg. Protect my lower back. At age 52, it is not what it used to be. Hamstring opener. It helps me a lot. if I've gone for a long walk, and if I've just been climbing a lot, heel hooking, climbing on steep stuff, and the backs of my legs are tight and sore. Return to low lunge, step back to plank, hold plank, chaturanga dandasana, inhale up dog, exhale back, downward facing dog. Halfway lift, pushing off the shins, backs flat, forward fold. Glute, arms to the sky, shoulders down the back. Exhale, the hands to heart center. Inhale up. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, step back to plank. Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Couple breaths here. Don't get sloppy with your shoulders. Drive back through the heels. You know, try to find sort of a nice elongated V shape in your body. Halfway lift. You should be getting a little more length in your hamstrings now. I know I finally am. Hands to heart center. Really active through the legs too. That's another thing when you're standing here in Tadasana or Samasthiti. Don't just kind of be limp. Stay active through the legs. Keep the quads engaged. Ground down through the floor, through all four corners of the feet. Really feel yourself rooting into the earth. Hands up. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back, plank. Chaturanga. Upward facing dog. Downward facing dog. From Sun A, step her up to the top of your mat, halfway lift. Forward fold. Hands at your sides this time. Forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back, plank. Chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Three-legged dog. Step your right foot through. We're going to open up into warrior one. So you want to ground your back heel to the ground so that your foot's at 45 degrees. You want heel to heel alignment, and then you come up kind of like you do in crescent pose, but you're slightly rotated. Try to keep that back heel on the floor. Arms as straight as possible. I realize mine are probably not super straight. Again, climber arms, elbow tendonitis, this and that. Hold. Chaturanga. Inhale up dog. Exhale downward facing dog. Step or hop to the top of your mat. Chair pose. So feet together, heels slightly apart. Bend the knees. You don't want your knees to come past your toes. Shoulders down the back, arms outstretched. Kind of like you're holding a beach ball or a volleyball or something in front of you. Breathe. A few breaths here. Just waking up the legs. Hands to heart center. Arms overhead, upward salute, forward fold, halfway lift, step back, plank, chaturanga, upward dog, step back, step back, push back into downward facing dog, exhale. Like a dog, we're going to take warrior one on the left side. So again, kind of a 90-degree bend right here, knees over the ankle, right foot to the floor, 45-degree heel to heel alignment. Turn your hips forward, it's a closed hip pose. Hands to the sky. A few breaths here. Shoulders down the back. Hip too, and when we did the other side in the left hip. Hands to the mat, step back plank, chaturanga, upward facing dog, push back, downward facing dog. Knees bent, chair pose. Focus on the breath. I know this is a tough pose. Hands to heart center. Fold. Halfway lift. Step back. Plank. Chaturanga. Up dog. Downward facing dog, right leg to the sky, three-legged dog, step through, warrior one. Hands to the mat, plank, chaturanga, up, downward facing dog, step the foot through, warrior one, come up. We'll just hold this for a breath. Hands to the mat. Plank. Chaturanga. Downward facing dog. Up top of your mat. Chair pose or fierce pose, you should be feeling some heat now. We're going to hold this one a little bit longer, 5-10 breaths, something like that. With it. 2 more breaths. Halfway lift. The plank, chaturanga, up dog. Downward facing dog, don't worry. I'm feeling the burn just like you. I'm suffering right here with you. Right leg to the sky, three-legged dog. Step through. Warrior one. Plank. Up dog. Down dog. Left leg to the sky, step it through. Warrior one, left side, grounding through the heat. Hands to the mat. Lower. dog, downward facing dog. We'll take a few breaths here. I know I need to catch my breath. Step through, come up, warrior one. I don't know if you can tell in the video, but it's really hard for me to get my back heel down. If I really focus on it, I kind of can. Sort of. Breathing. One, bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers, drive down through your hands, bring the shoulders down your back, so you're kind of like doing a chicken dance, for lack of a better description. Take the hands down and then lean forward. Bring your right shoulder inside your right thigh, and then bring your hands overhead as if you're trying to sort of point them forward to the top of the mat. And just breathe. This is humble warrior. Coming down through the feet. One. Hands to the mat. My hands went a little numb on that one, which is fine. It's just a sensation, doesn't mean anything. Hold plank. Breathe. Up dog, elbows are in by the sides, push back down facing dog. For me, I don't know about for you, but long holds in humble warrior tend to humble me. Step through, we'll come up to warrior one for a few breaths. Left side now, so bring your hands behind your back, interlace your fingers. You can do the opposite grip that you did on the right side. Take the shoulders down the back, do the chicken chest, and then bow down. Left shoulder inside the left knee. Keep the legs activated, arms overhead, driving towards the front of the mat. Breathe. Be lazy. Back plank. Hold it for a couple breaths. Lower, elbows in. Flip over the feet, upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. Land in chair pose. We've been here before. Arms up, shoulders down the back, knees more or less over the ankles. Don't let them drift forward over the toes like that. You're not water skiing. You want them back. Breathe. Wrap it over the left. If you're more flexible than me, which most people are, you might be able to hook your right foot behind your left calf. I certainly cannot. I think if I did that, I'd get a compound fracture in my legs. Anyway, do what you can. If you fall, so be it. Pushing off the treadmill. And then take the right arm, wrap it under the left. Again, if you're really flexible, you can gumby your hands together. I can't. And then bring everything to center. So imagine there's a center line kind of cleaving straight down the center of your mat. You want to bring your hips in towards it and your arms in towards it, and then just sit, equal pose. But I know I am. One more breath. Come out. Step onto that left foot. Let's just stand in the front of the mat. And my mat's getting wonky. Mountain pose. Arms overhead, forward fold. Halfway lift. Step or jump back. Plank. Downward dog. Lower. Upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. A little bit. I sort of lost track of my breath. Climbing, if you lose the breath, it kind of all falls apart. You know, it's not necessarily about the pose or the movement or the sequence. It's about being able to find ease inside the difficulty. And for me, once my breath gets away from me, I lose that ease. My technique becomes bad, whether I'm on my mat or on the rock, and it all kind of falls apart. Again, I have some asthma, so my breathing might not quite be like yours, but I have found that yoga does help, as does climbing. But right now I've had to slow down because I was starting to wheeze a little bit. All right, left leg up. Actually, no. Step or hop, top of your mat, chair pose. Arms up. Don't let the knees drift too far forward. I'm gonna hold chair for a few breaths, and then left leg up over the right. If you can bring that left foot to lock behind the right calf. I can't. Then left arm under the right hand, and then bring everything towards your imaginary center line. Get your shoulders out of your ears, none of this hunching down, and breathe. 5 breaths. Find a point to look at in the distance that'll help you balance. Left foot on the floor. I'm going to find Tadasana. Active through the feet, grounding down through the feet. Quads are active, shoulders are down the back, arms are nice and straight, jazz hands. Halfway lift. Step back. Chaturanga, exhale. Inhale, up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Mat. Halfway lift. Forward fold. Stand tall. mountain pose. Now we're going to take dancer's pose. We'll take it first on the right. So bring your left foot to the middle of your mat, ground down through all four corners of that foot. Take your right arm up like you're sort of carrying a tray out to the side, like a waiter bringing a tray full of, platter full of food to the table. Hold it out there. Lift your right foot behind you, bending your knee to 90 degrees. Grasp the inside of your foot, not the outside, the inside. Whoops. Good thing I have this treadmill here to grab onto. All right, now that you have the inside of your foot, bring your right knee against your left knee. Pull back, lift that leg, resist it with the hand, then lift your left arm to the sky and find dancer's pose. This is a really good hip opener, overall leg strengthener, back bend. I really love this pose. Good for balance too. I'm sure you've seen plenty of photos of people on boulders or rocks, backlit, doing this pose. It's very visually spectacular. Breath. Hands, upward salute, forward fold, halfway lift, plant the hands, step back, plank, lower chaturanga, inhale up dog, exhale push back into downward facing dog. You can probably tell from my voice, but I'm going to slow it down here in downward dog. Okay. Step or hop, top of the mat, halfway lift, forward fold. Then bring your hands to your sides, standing in mountain pose. We're going to take dancer on the left side now. So, right foot to the center of the mat, grounding down through the foot. Left leg up, grab the foot from the inside. I'm cramping up a little bit. If you do that, you can kind of shake it out, just like you do in climbing with your arms. Shake the lactic acid out. Bring that left knee again in against the right knee. Kick back through that left leg. Pull with the hand, resist. Right arm to the sky. Keep your alignment. Don't let yourself drift out like that. You want your knees to kind of be on the same axis. Hands to heart center. Upward salute, forward fold. Halfway lift. Step back plank. Lower chaturanga, exhale. Inhale up dog. Exhale back, downward facing dog. Pushing back through the heels. You should be nice and warm now, like your legs are warm, your hamstrings are warm, your shoulders are warm. You should be feeling a lot more bendy, kind of like a rubber band in this pose than you did at the start of the class. Step forward and spring off your back leg, and we're just going to hold airplane pose for 10 breaths. So you want your torso and lifted leg to be parallel to the floor, arms behind you, airplane wings essentially. Think of a big Boeing 747, and then just keep that nice straight line through your body, holding plank basically while you're on that grounded bottom leg. Hips are facing the ground and facing forward. Breaths here. Keep your left leg lifted. Standing splits, which I know with me is going to be way far from the splits, but do what you can. Grab the back of your right leg with your hands, pull yourself in, lift that left leg as high as you can. Just a couple breaths here. The left foot behind the right foot. I have a block handy. Cross-legged forward fold. Let's stretch out the hamstrings a little more. Cross, standard forward fold. Halfway lift. Let the hands step back, plank. Exhale, chaturanga dandasana. Elbows by the sides. Flip over the feet, upward facing dog. Push back, downward facing dog. Left leg to the sky. Step it forward, and we're going to go straight into airplane on the left side. So same as before, but your left leg, foot is the one that's grounded. Your right leg's extended behind you. Arms span out. I'm going to do 10 breaths here. Through the shoulder blades, active through your arms. Just pretend you're flying. One more breath. All right, fold over. That straightened left leg. Standing splits. Cross-legged forward fold. I have my block handy. A few breaths here. Legs, forward fold, halfway lift, step her off back plank, exhale chaturanga dandasana, inhale up dog, exhale back downward facing dog. We'll just hold this for a few breaths, and then we are basically done with standing poses at that point. The mat. Now we're going to do a little bit of core. Why? Because I skipped core yesterday because I was lazy. You know, if you're climbing a lot and you're doing steep stuff and you want to have good body tension and get yourself back on the wall when you swing off, I think it's important to do core at least 3 or 4 days a week. I never do it before a climbing session because that'll just nuke my climbing session. But I found it is okay to do it on days when I'm not climbing, as long as I don't overdo it. So we'll just do some basic core stuff. So lie down on your back. We're just going to do some crunches. You'll support your head in your hands, but you're not using your hands to pull yourself up. So you're not just like wrenching yourself up, which is what my kids do when I try to teach them core. You're just using this to support your neck. So we're going to do crunches here for a bit. All right, so lifting the back and shoulders off the ground. And we'll do these nice and slow. 8, 9, I guess we'll do 30 of them. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 30. All right, now we're going to do side crunches on the left side. So rotate yourself onto the right side of your body. Hands behind the head again. You can see me laying kind of supine but sideways. And we'll do 30 crunches here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. How boring is it listening to me count? 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 28, 29, 30. Okay. Switch sides, side crunches on your right side, so now you're lying on your left. Support your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Boy, am I sick of the sound of my own voice at this point. 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. Maybe there's a better way to do this other than me counting. I will work on that. Let's take side plank now. We'll start by taking on the left. So bring your left hand to the center of your mat. Get onto the outside of your left foot. You want that left hand more or less under your shoulder. Body's in a straight line like it is in regular plank. Right arm to the sky. And then just breathe. Keep your shoulders out of your ears. We'll hold this for 10 breaths. Right arm are pressing up against a wall. I know there's no wall there, but pretend there's one there. Think about how you would resist against it to find this plank-like form. 7 breaths. Your hips drop. Keep yourself in a nice straight line. Active through those side obliques. Bring your right hand to the mat. And we'll just switch sides. 10 breaths. Side plank on the right. Left arm to the sky. Elevating through the hips. Active, driving down through the hand. Back to regular old plank. We'll hold forearm plank for a bit. So drop to your forearms, pretty much like it sounds like. Hold that alignment. Don't let the butt or hips drop. But you don't want your butt in the air either. You don't want to be stink bugging. You want to be a nice straight line, parallel to the floor, using your core to resist gravity. For me, this one starts to sort of torch my traps for some reason. I don't know why, but you also, once you start to feel it a lot in your traps and neck, reactivate your core, re-energize your core. It should take some of that burden away. Pass the time, you can play fake piano in front of you. Keyboard, you can type. Look, I'm sending a nasty email. Hey, up yours. Or you can just kind of hold it. let's stretch out the abs a little bit. So Sphinx pose, basically this is just forearm plank, but your pelvic area and your legs are to the floor, and then just push against your forearms and hands, and you can stretch out the front of your belly. Let's just finish with some slow bicycles. I was trying to explain this one to my kids the other day, and they were starting to get the coordination down, but it's going to take some work. So return to your crunch position, hands behind your head, lift your knees to 90 degrees, and you're going to go opposite knee to opposite elbow to opposite knee, straightening the leg that you're not twisting towards. So nice and slow. So I go left elbow, right knee, right elbow, left knee, but straighten the right leg. Left elbow, right knee, straightening the left leg, keeping my shoulders and back off the ground, and just going back and forth like this. We'll go nice and slow. It's easy to sort of whip through these, kind of sloppy, but then I don't think you get as much benefit. Going. I didn't want to hear myself counting anymore. You don't either. Why don't we finish with some hundreds? So knees are flat. You can't put your knees flat on the mat when you're in your back. Feet are flat on the mat. Knees are 45 degrees. Bring your torso off the floor. Arms are straight in front of you, kind of like a Frankenstein monster walking. Paddle back and forth, one side to the other. Or you can do both at once. Actually, let's do both at once. That's a little harder. Nine, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm climbing tomorrow. I don't want to blow up my core. Let's just take one more pose just to sort of stretch out everything that we've activated so far. So come back to forearm plank and then walk your feet forward, dolphin pose. So forearm plank arms, downward dog legs. Push back in your forearms, try to drive your heels towards the mat. Mine are nowhere close, not even maybe. Just do what you can and breathe. The mat, spread your knees wide, bring your toes together. We're going to end up back where we started in child's pose. The hands pushing through the inner triad, toes together, pushing your hips back, trying to find some hip opening. A couple poses on the floor, and then you can take Shavasana if you want. So I meant to bring a band, but I didn't. That's okay. Lie on your back, left leg extended. Bring your right arm into your chest and pull with your hands just on or below your knee, and really suck that hip back into the socket and pull your leg back. Stay active through your feet. Don't just let them droop. Keep both of your toes pointing towards the ceiling. Both of your toes, both of the feet. Pull down. Keep that left leg active and grounded to the floor, left heel grounded. Stretch your left arm out to your left. Bring that right leg across body, knees still bent. Right arm out to the right. Pull down on the bent right leg with the left hand and then look out towards your right hand. Now we're going to do that all on the other side. So right leg is straight to the floor, ground down through that heel. Pull the left knee into your chest and just pull with both hands and get your hip back in its socket. And you should feel a good stretch here, good hip opener. Left, butterfly leg, right arm out to the right. Bring your left knee, cross body bent. Pull down on the top of the right knee. Top of the left knee with the right hand. Left arm extended, look out towards your extended left arm. Find the twist. And that's it. Today I would say take another butterfly shavasana. So bring your feet in butterfly pose. You've earned a good rest here. I would take shavasana, but I have to stand up and turn off the phone, and I'm overly caffeinated, so perhaps later. Anyway, feet together, pushing the heels, the balls of the feet, the toes together, and then just lean back. And stay here for 5 to 10 minutes, eyes closed. Just let your breath and your thoughts kind of wash over you. Good. I'm sorry to stop it myself, but anyway, thank you for joining me on this practice. I'll keep posting more. Namaste.